hell? It's the Albino! It's the Albino Rhino tonight! Good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. We're drinking a beer. Anytime you see me, we're probably drinking a beer or eating or trying a hot sauce or eating something stupid, or you know what to expect. So today's beer is from Alberta. High River Brewing Company's Rising Pheasant Brown Ale at 5% alcohol by volume. We didn't just set out to build a brewery in High River. We set out to build High River's brewery. For us, it is about more than beer. It is about community. We chose High River because this town's made of people who have risen to every challenge and came out stronger because of it. Rising Pheasant Brown Ale. Our Rising Pheasant Brown Ale features a rich malt presence that offers a toasty flavor with hints of caramel and coffee, accompanied by hops that provide a distinct bitterness and earthy tones. Raise a wing with this dark beer. So first and foremost, to their thing about community, I really love breweries that do that type of thing. There are a lot of breweries that have gone out to help build community. South River, which used to be Highlander Brewing Company in South River, Ontario, is one such brewery. I don't always love all the beers that Highlander, or now South River Brewing, has put out, but I've always loved the camaraderie and the community that they've brought forth. There are other breweries. Font Hills Cayman Kettle is big on community. A lot of the breweries that are huge on community are usually coming from smaller towns. There is breweries from back where I'm from in the Ottawa Valley, back around the Arnprior area. Pakenham has its own brewery. It's trying to build a community around it. And I really love when a brewery does that. And I can kind of get behind even slightly lesser beers when that's what it is that they're doing. Not saying this is a lesser beer. I'm just saying that I can get behind breweries that might not have the star power in their brewers, or might not have the star power in their beer because they don't want to bring that star power out because they have a community that isn't looking for like an anise-laden blonde ale with cappuccino, or like craft beer can get kind of snooty. And I can get behind a brewery that isn't looking to do the snooty beers because their community isn't big on the snooty beers. I'm okay with that. I really like brown ales. I don't know how it looks yet in the cup, but okay, in the cup it's looking a little better, but watching it pour out of the can, that is not the color I expected. Out of the cup, a little better. Not amazingly better, but when I get a brown ale, I expect a little more brown ale to it. I mean, that is nice. It really is nice, but it's like it is a deep amber. It's a deep amber, not a brown to me. I don't think the SRM has really hit the brown. It's, you know what? I'm wrong there. It is probably right at the bottom end of the brown ale spectrum, but it is a deep amber more so than a brown. That's perfectly okay. Just when I expect a brown ale, I expect like a mahogany brown or a diarrhea brown, which nobody really wants to see, but that's what I expect from a brown ale. Did I actually just spill some, or did it just sound like it? No, it just sounded like it. There's nothing down there. There's a battery there. I gotta throw that battery out. Gotta bring it to the dump. Sent out of the can first. First can. It actually smells just like a brown ale. It smells awesome. A beautiful, beautiful note of roasted malt. Roasted malt, a little bit of caramelized sugars. Roasted malt, caramelized sugars, a little earthiness, a little bit of copper, and a little bit of coffee. All in all, Rising Pheasant Smells divine out of the can. It smells just like I'd expected. It might not look like I wanted it to. And don't get me wrong, I love that color. I especially love that color when it's a hair color. Girls with that hair color, my fucking knees get weak. It gets weak. Sent out of the glass. Actually, the glass smells just like the can. So, caramelized sugars, roasty toastiness, a little bit of breadiness, a little bit of coffee, a little bit of breadiness, a little bit of roastiness, a little bit of toastiness, caramelized sugars. This is an amazing, amazing smelling brown ale. Sláinte. Okay. High River. I know it cost a lot of money to send this beer to me. It cost me a lot of money to get this beer sent to me. It was worth it. Unfortunately, I won't have any more of these unless I'm in Alberta or I'm back in Ontario where the shipping is less. That being said, damn! That's a good beer. Medium-bodied, yet so easily drinkable. Beautiful, light carbonation all the way through. That is nice. A little bit of copperiness at the back end. We'll start with the back end. A little bit of copperiness at the back end. A little bit of bready biscuitiness, almost like a rye bread at the back end. A little bit of toastiness at the back end. Middle of the beer. Middle of the beer. A nice rounded sweetness in the center. Nice bit of caramelized sugar in the center. And still that like toasted rye, almost like a marbled rye, toastiness right in the center. Forefront. Nice malty sweetness. Nice roasted malt. Nice toasted malt. All in all, it's an amazing beer. It really is an amazing beer. And it's great brown ale. And I love brown ales. I love stouts. I love porters. I love sours. I love whites. I love reds. I love browns. I love a lot of beer. I really do. Really, the whole pale ale family, not my biggest fan, not the thing I'm the biggest fan of. And I mean, excuse me. That's mostly some of the tastes that are common for a brown ale, for an IPA, a pale ale, all that type of stuff, are not the flavors I want. Wow, I got the hiccups now. Apparently I drank a little too fast. Wow. What the fuck? Better. Okay. So, some of the flavors in a IPA and a pale ale, not really the things I like. Everybody has different palates. Everybody has... Saison's another thing that I'm not huge on. Regular lager is not a thing I'm huge on. I can get behind a good Kolsch. I can get behind a good Pilsner, but they're not really what I go after. I do go after reds. I do go after browns. I do go after porters. I do go after stouts. I do go after wheat beers. I do go after sour beers. I go after those beers. Those are the beers that I seek out. If I see a brewery has those beers, those are the first beers I try from them. Stephen Beaumont talks all the time about how, he'll try a a pale ale from every brewery, because that's his mark. A pale ale is his mark, to learn if a brewery knows what they're doing, if they're good at what they're doing. Jordan St. John has brought up a pale ale as well. He's brought up a few different styles of pale ale as well. For me, I usually go for porter or stout. If a brewery has a porter or a stout, that's what I'm going to pick to try and see if I like the brewery. A brown ale as well, that type of thing. I understand the pale ale idea because almost every brewery makes a pale ale. Not enough breweries make a brown ale. And yes, this isn't really the color I expected from a brown ale, but this is the taste I expected from a brown ale. I can't really say much more. High River Brown Ale. High River Brown Ale. High River, what is it? Rising Pheasant? Yeah, Rising Pheasant Brown Ale. Rising Pheasant Brown Ale. It's fucking good. It's an 8.75 out of 10. I really like this beer. More breweries need to make brown ales. Bye.